Okay, there is something that I feel like really needs to be talked about. Why is it that the second that you have had one C-section, everyone acts like your body is now permanently broken and you have to have surgery for every single birth after that? If you've had a C-section and you're pregnant again, or your provider is already saying, well, we'll just schedule you another C-section, that's just what we do, then this video is for you. Because here's the thing. Nobody wants to say this part out loud. And so for most people who are good candidates, a successful VBAC is actually associated with lower maternal complications and faster recovery than a repeat C-section. It is genuinely an evidence-based option. Like, it's not a reckless outlying choice. Anyway, before anyone comes for me, I am a doula, I am not a doctor, I am not a midwife, and I'm not your medical provider, and this is not medical advice. What I am is someone who lives in the world of birth research, of evidence, and of real life stories every single day, and I am tired of watching people get scared into repeat surgeries that they didn't even know they had a choice about. My opinion, I am pro VBAC when it's appropriate. I am pro options. I am pro informed and evidence-based consent. What I am not pro is once a C-section, always a C-section. I don't like that doctors say I don't do VBACs, it's just my policy, or it's safer to cut you again, don't worry about it. So I want to actually talk about the numbers, because this is where things really get real. The VBAC risks. The biggest scary one that everyone throws around is uterine rupture. And for someone with one prior low transverse scar, the risk is 0.3 to 0.7%. That is it. That's roughly 1 in 143 to 333 people attempting a VBAC. Is it life-threatening? Yes, it can be. It deserves to be taken seriously. But it is not happening to everyone, and is not happening every 5 minutes. Perinatal death due to that rupture is even rarer. It's like 0.0006%. It means it occurs only in about a fraction of the rupture cases. Maternal mortality rate with a VBAC is around 0.0038%, and the rate of maternal death is actually lower in successful VBACs than in planned C-sections. So yes, VBAC has risks. No one's denying that. But let's look at now the repeat C-section risks, because we almost never hear those with the same intensity. In one study, the risk of serious adverse infant outcome with a planned repeat C-section is about 0.9%. And that risk can be higher for babies delivered before 39 weeks. Infection, things like wound infection or endometritis, was about 15% with C-sections compared to 10% with a planned vaginal birth. Specific infections like wound infection can be 2.7 times higher with a C-section than with a planned vaginal delivery. Blood transfusions with repeat C-section is about 3.2 in one study, and that risk is higher than with a successful VBAC. Maternal mortality rate with planned repeat C-section is around 0.0134%, which is slightly higher than successful VBACs. And then there's placental problems in future pregnancies, placenta previa, placenta accreta. The risk of these goes up with every C-section. For example, if you have placenta previa, the risk of placenta accreta jumps from about 11 with one prior C-section to about 40% with two. Those are serious, sometimes life-threatening complications that we almost never hear about when people are casually, oh, we'll just do another C-section. So when we talk about safety, we can't just zoom in on the small acute risk of uterine rupture during a VBAC attempt and just completely ignore the short and long-term surgical risks that come with repeated C-sections. Does that mean a VBAC is risk-free? No, nobody's saying that. Nothing in birth is risk-free. But for most women who are good candidates, a successful VBAC is linked to lower maternal morbidity and faster recovery than a planned repeat. All right. Now, before anyone jumps in the comments down my throat, yes, every individual is different. And yes, your medical history matters. Nobody is saying that it doesn't. There are absolutely situations where a repeat C-section is the safest option. And again, let me be super clear. I'm not your doctor. I'm not your midwife. I'm not saying what you should personally do. What I am saying is the evidence is out there. We can read it. We can ask questions. We can get second opinions. We can actually participate in decisions about our own bodies. So let's flip the coin. Let's play devil's advocate. VBAC is too risky. The uterus could rupture, so we just don't allow it. It's safer for the baby if we just schedule delivery. And listen, uterine rupture is, again, it's real. Complications are real. Nobody is denying that. But we also have to talk about the risk of not attempting a VBAC, the risk of multiple surgeries, the impact on your recovery, your future pregnancies, your mental health, your ability to pick up your toddler after surgery. You deserve to hear both sides of the risks conversation, not just the scary VBAC side. Having one C-section does not automatically mean you must have a C-section for every birth after that. It should not be treated like someone, like some unbreakable rule carved in stone. And that's exactly why we should be educating ourselves and why I am out here trying to educate all of you. Ask your provider, am I a candidate for a VBAC? Yes, no, why? What are your VBAC success rates as a doctor? What is my actual risk of uterine rupture? What are the short and long-term risks of a repeat C-section for me and for future pregnancies? You are allowed to say, I want to see the evidence, instead of just saying, okay, whatever you say. And while we are here, just like repeat C-sections have their own risks, repeat epidurals come with their own set of risks. But we'll save that for another video. So I want you to tell me in the comments if you felt pushed into, of course, if you feel like sharing, did you feel pushed into a repeat C-section? Or did you have a VBAC? Was it a success? Let's use that term loosely. Was it a successful VBAC? Did your provider even tell you it was an option? Share your experiences below, because people need to see real stories, not just fear-based policies. And if you're pregnant after a C-section right now, then this is your reminder that you deserve options, you deserve information, and you deserve to be a part of the decision and the conversation.